How do you say triple elimination in German? Maybe Chael knows. It's the Celebrity Apprentice, and we're talking about season 15, episode 4, Scissors and Some, coming at you now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to the wizarding world of AfterBuzz TV.
I need my little,
Oh, I have
Yes.
two, apparently.
Oh, you have two? Okay.
We're here to discuss, all of the fools on The Apprentice.
All the fools.
Yes, and why not with this fitting music, appropriate. I think
Love.
it's safe to say that perhaps we enjoyed the second task more than the first.
Safe to say.
Yeah.
Safe to say.
Yes. So let's talk about it. I'm your host, Grant's Rants, over on Twitter. And next to me to break it down,
I'm Alison Dean. You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean.
Hey guys, my name is Christy Olson, and you can hit me up at Christy Reports.
great. Oh, I like this music. It's setting the scene.
It
for us.
is, right?
We're like having a special edition.
It's a special edition.
Yes.
The Daily Prophet.
Yes.
Of spells.
It's gonna get a little wild though, because we gotta talk about this first task.
I see what you did. They're wild, like in grass-fed beef wild?
Yeah,
What are we talking?
apparently so.
Touche.
Larissa's Kitchen. Have we heard of Larissa's Kitchen before?
Nope, never.
Never.
And I watch Shark Tank.
I really want to know if
eat
that
all the
woman was
natural
really
stuff.
Larissa. That's what I want to know. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you really? Because this company is owned by Jack Link's, Larissa's Kitchen. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know what they did. It wasn't until you two looked it up.
Yeah. And to be honest, their website leaves much still to the imagination. But they say that their mission is they work only with farmers that are committed to animals' well-being, before we kill them and make them into jerky. We only source 100% grass-fed beef. Oh, self-righteous. And our chickens are American Humane certified. Again, humane until they're killed and made into jerky. So,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry for the sassy.
So Jack Link's,
No, but
they're doing a new vertical. They're doing
It's
a new.
true though.
Sorry, not
I
sorry.
mean, they're very concerned about how these animals are living, but after that, only to a certain point, I guess.
Only until they become delicious, according to Larissa.
I mean,
Yeah.
there are different ways. It's not a bad idea for a company like Jack Link's to have this sort of niche brand, just because obviously in the world of food, people are turning to brands that do things a bit more humanely and more naturally and whatever. So, I mean, certainly
True.
it's not a bad idea. But yeah, I had never heard of them.
Yeah.
Right. And we always support that. Even taking any steps towards
Right,
treating
yeah.
animals more humanely is a good thing.
Right. Like, I'll pay the extra buck to get the cage-free eggs. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, let those chickens roam.
Yeah, so it's a smart direction for them to take. So they're introduced as selling protein snacks, but
I was like, why couldn't you just call it jerky?
Is jerky like a lowbrow word? But yet they haven't
Probably.
come up with a
I
fancy
think
word
so.
for it?
I
Just
think
call
so.
it jerky.
Dehydrated
I mean,
Yeah.
meat isn't sexy? I mean, I don't know.
No.
Not
Jerky!
sexy,
Because
right?
when I think
I'd
jerky,
like some of that dehydrated meat, please.
when I think of jerky, I think of stuff that you buy at like the gas station. So I don't think this
Yeah.
is exactly what they're going for.
But like
you know?
Crave,
Dive into a Slim Jim.
Crave is a big brand that's doing what Larissa's Kitchen is attempting
Okay.
to do, and so Crave is sort of turning the tides on making sort of a more upscale like jerky line. They still call it jerky, don't they?
Interesting,
super
I don't-
expensive.
Oh, really?
Get it at Costco.
My husband loves it though.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, they are going to be provided a retrofitted container, which they can have a PR stunt in and around and above.
Hermosa Beach.
Yes, for 1 hour.
You know
which
that place,
seems
Allison?
doable. Seems doable. Of course, they are up for $50,000 in wins for their charity, and they're being judged on audience engagement, brand messaging, and the overall creative concept. Team Arete, as I'm going to call them, to channel
Yay!
to channel Schwarzenegger. Excuse me. Brooke Burke is in the driver's seat for this one, so.
But she's not driving a motorcycle, just to be clear.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because that wouldn't happen in real life.
That wouldn't happen in her life. No.
Brooke, I'm still forgiving your husband. Just to say. Just saying. Well, so their whole team, their whole strategy was to focus on an educational experience, this whole farm to table, building a relationship with food, and putting together a lifestyle lounge. There was a lot of ideas on both sides, to be fair, and I think we all found it a little blurry as to
Yes.
what the direction was for both sides.
And just what the task was, right? Because to sort
Yeah.
of just be like, do a stunt in public to
In a
promote a
box,
brand, you're
yeah.
like, for jerky, nonetheless.
I mean, essentially that was it.
I mean, they did it. Whatever they did, seemingly that was the best you would have gotten.
Yeah.
Outside of people making their own jerky.
I
Or
ca-
doing a
Yeah.
tasting of some kind with like jerky meets smoothies. Or like, I don't know, like what do you pair jerky with, right? But like to kind of get creative with jerky. Right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
only so much you can do.
Did you
Go for it.
mention that like a wine tasting?
Well, yeah, but then I'm like lifestyle. I was thinking like healthy. We could probably contradict that. That's not
Yes.
necessarily. But I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do a wine tasting with the jerky.
But
What
you
pairs
both have
well?
a point when it comes to like, well, that like Christy, you said that was essentially it. I thought we were gonna see something. I was waiting for the presentation to kind of fill in some blanks, but no, like you said, that
was it.
That was it. What you see is what you get.
Or I mean, it's possible that maybe on Brookside they did talk a little bit more about the product. We just weren't getting that. We were only getting the athletic component that they
The
were sort of
entertaining
doing.
stuff.
Yeah, so it's
Right,
possible
yeah.
that there was some discussion about, grass-fed beef and this is the perfect snack and great for the fam and it's quick and easy. So, they probably did say all that and it didn't translate to us.
Well, somehow this grass-fed beef and all this translated into booty exercises on both sides. That was
You're
the
right.
strategy.
Yeah.
So, someone made the connection. I didn't. I don't know.
Just like
didn't.
I
and
wasn't
like
sure either on
wellness,
that
like
one.
health and wellness. Like I guess people that tend to care about grass-fed beef probably also exercise. So I think
Right.
that was sort of the
Yeah, and we'll just jump to the butt. I don't have one, so I don't even think about it. I don't
You
even
might
think
have
about
after doing
one.
this workout with
And then
work.
work for art,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm missing out. I need to get some of this. What's her face? Larissa's Kitchen. Send some over. We're curious.
I know. Like, where's our Larissa's Kitchen to try?
I know. I don't even
Fail.
need. I don't even need the container box. I just want to try it.
I just want
I'm
a snack.
curious. I'll try anything once.
Well, this was Brooke kind of using her strength. I think she was a little bit lost in this from the beginning. Even when she took it on, she was kind of like, "Well, I guess I'm doing this."
True.
And I know a booty workout, so let's do a booty workout.
Yeah, she's like, I do one in Malibu, so we're just gonna do it here. I'm like, okay.
What is that at the Equinox or how do I sign up? $600 a month.
Oh yeah, a private beach for sure. Ricky is unclear as usual. He always has to say, I don't know what's going on, so I'm not going to do anything. All right, that was for him for the episode, for both shows basically. I don't have anything to really say on him.
Just dress him up in the right outfit, and that's his
I
participation,
guess,
right?
yeah. Brooke says that she told the person who is the person that comes and visits, the advisor, right?
Yeah.
She said that she's going to play it safe.
That was the wrong thing. I was like, don't say that out loud. Don't say
Yes.
that on camera. Anyway, that was odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't really do anything eye-catching to the actual box that they had to work with. There were a few, like of signs and stuff like that, but there wasn't anything to bring me in.
No, really with both sides. Outside of, I do remember for Team Prima in the center, they did have some sort of a tasting table or something, right?
Right.
Like there was a component of a tasting kitchen area. So yes to that, I recall. But on the other side, you're right. Like what was their space?
Yeah.
I think they were just expecting that these celebrity faces in the crowd in a place like this, in a public place, would bring the people in, and that they didn't have
Right.
to do much other than
yeah.
that to that.
But she,
display.
Brooke was saying something about like, we'll have the radishes and the turnips and the.
Yeah.
I was like,
Right.
okay, well,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean,
Where were the organic veggies?
I wanted to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
dancing like people in costume wearing. That also doesn't actually have anything to do with it. There should have been
That's true.
They should have been in a cow costume, like. I'm
Eating
happy,
grass.
like
Yeah.
happy cows walking around,
Yes.
right? We're all happy cows because we eat grass, right? That would have been funny.
Yeah. I mean,
The happy cow workout. Look it, I can just keep
There you
going.
go. I
Okay,
like
anyway,
it.
continue on.
you're a powerhouse,
Oh God,
Allison.
no, I don't know.
Your marketing genius.
Just make it stop. Grant.
Maybe Allison can let us know what she thinks of #Snavy.
Snavy. That was funny. I was like, and then what was the other one? Snacks to go.
Snacks to go,
Snacks
yes.
to go.
Okay.
That's
Snacks
it.
to
Only
go.
one
or
sounds like
snavvy.
it's referring a female genitalia.
snavvy.
only
A
one of them.
snavvy. You're right. It does. It just
Like a
sounds
snatch.
a snavvy.
That's where my brain went
Snatch
first.
box.
It definitely did not sound like
That's
something I
awful.
wanted to repeat often. Like hashtag
No.
snavvy. I don't know. You're right. It could be like female body party. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's talk about the other side. Lisa Leslie pulling that together on that side. Then there was the whole idea in the initial creation of having this bikini model photo shoot idea, tying that in with fitness girls, and Lisa just wanted to include Vince. Yeah.
She was trying to be.
That was his idea. Yeah.
Whatever.
So Lisa also knew that Brooke was going to go the fitness route, so they wanted to go that route too. But Carson said that they have to be competitive; they can't do the same exact thing, which they kind of did.
Right.
Overall. So they were about working and creating in the kitchen and about a mommy workout. That really worked well in the past when they went the mommy route. So I guess they were like, all right, we're going to link this to moms somehow. And Portia basically had no idea what to do in this task. I just wrote that down. I just remember her being very lost.
She's like, the booty workout. I can do one too. Booty. Go booty.
And then
Yay, pink legging.
Yes. And then there was all this talk about Lisa not being very nice to Portia and Chael and funny enough, and Chael and Vince just sitting back and doing the bare minimum as they were convicted of, which Chael basically all but admitted it. I mean, he doesn't do anything. We're not going to be
Hey,
promoting
he said
him.
it, not you.
That's true. So Chael did take a minute from sitting around to say that Lisa was a terrible leader. Of course, just the best types of people to work with are the ones who do absolutely nothing but insert their opinions, negativity on
Right.
other team members. It's really great.
Yeah, like, where did
Yeah.
this guy come from? Oy.
Yeah.
Hi out there.
Yes. So Chael and Carson steal people away from the other team. What did you think? Classy or trashy?
Okay, so here's what I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if the presentations were probably staggered, where one team was going the first hour and then another team. So I'm hoping that by them doing that, it was because their presentation had ended and they were pulling people to the next thing. Mm-hmm. I hope it wasn't like we're trying to poach people that are actually at an active live presentation that was happening. So that was unclear for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, if it was after the fact, yeah, sure.
That's
Come
true.
on, let's see the next set
they're
of
there,
slides.
they're
From a production
engaged,
standpoint, they want the biggest crowd in front of where they're shooting. They're only going to show you one at a time. So
Right.
bring all the people over here, then bring them over there. That does make sense.
Yeah. So they had the go-go girls or the fitness models on the roof of the box. And I will say, I thought that was okay because it was in the vein to me of like a Venice Beach idea of having like people out, like showing skin, like they're in good shape. I didn't think it was horrible. But then again, I don't know much about this brand of Larissa's Kitchen or whoever. Larissa's Kitchen.
Yeah.
So I don't know the brand. But I thought it was kind of cool.
Well, and you're right that they're at Muscle Beach, essentially, and this seems totally appropriate there. Why not have females and males?
There you go.
That would have solved the entire thing. Why not? If you're showing like a fit body or a fit person, or that it's about a lifestyles for men and women.
Yeah,
God,
and
I get that.
Vince Neil should not have been on the roof with the girls either. So that I think that part of it, had he been removed and it was just those girls, I think Arnold and I think the rest of the advisors would have had a different opinion of
Good
the girls
point.
up there. But you immediately, when you put Vince into a situation with hot girls, your mind is
The
going
author of
straight.
Girls,
Yeah.
owner of strip clubs
Right.
for some reason. I don't know.
You're going right to the, exactly. You're going right to
Yeah.
the strip club and like what you're imagining up there. So
I like Vince. Just
no,
did it.
he's and hey, he's
Yeah.
done the best so far out of all of them.
Yeah.
So
True. Yep.
go Vince Neil.
Yeah, I liked it. I guess
And
he was
his
like,
ladies.
He's like, this is what I want. I'm going to introduce these chicks as many of these opportunities as I can, and I like it.
No, I have nothing bad to say about Vince
Yeah,
Neil.
as the guy
But
on
I
this
do-
panel, I give you my blessing.
But I do think it would have affected just what the judges' advisors would have said, right? If he wasn't standing up there with them. Like, they may have just appeared as
Right.
fitness girls.
Right.
I don't know.
So
Anyway.
Portia did a butt workout again. Then Vince did a selfie corner, which just sounds lame. You
I don't know.
know?
What's the point of that? I don't know how that ties into anything.
And Chael did some type of kickboxing.
Fine. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Then at the end, they had a cha-cha line, which I was like, ugh. But I will say that was a good way to get the audience engaged.
Totally.
You know.
And it seemed like they were having fun at least. So in terms of just like positive brand remembrance, you're like, oh, that fun little, cha-cha line that we did with
Right.
whatever.
Added kind of an air of spontaneity.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And they were saying what? Snacks to go. Snacks to go. Like that was
Yeah.
kind of cute. Snacks to
Yeah.
go. I don't know.
See, now Allison's got in her head.
Snacks
you
to
go.
go.
It
I was like,
worked,
I
it
want some
worked.
snacks to go, man. Like, where are my snacks to go?
I know, I'm
hungry.
starving.
Yeah, right.
Tell me about it.
Snappy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in the boardroom.
I'm not hungry anymore. Like you said, snabby. I'm like not hungry anymore. Okay, go on.
No problem. In the boardroom, Schwarzenegger had to remind everyone that it was time to wake up and get tough. I mean, how do you feel about the boardrooms this far into this series?
Each episode, each boardroom, even within the episodes, has had a different feel.
Totally.
At first, he was giving us this real hard-ass and kind of pompous and maybe almost a little chauvinistic, like they were telling him be Trump-ish.
Oh,
we were getting very Trumpish
I
in the
can't.
first few,
Yeah.
and now
Please
this
don't.
seems like a more like a relaxed. Like I feel like I'm getting to see a real Arnold, how he would really behave in a boardroom instead of him trying to act like a hard boss.
I get it. It seems like he's having a little more fun just giving his 2 cents versus trying to play the boss.
Exactly.
I get that. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel. I mean, truly, each boardroom does feel entirely different. And it's also like, it seems like you're catching him with, he's either in like a good mood or maybe he got some bad news like right before the boardroom. You kind of don't know because he really is kind of giving different attitude with every boardroom.
I think they're feeding him a lot of very safe questions that he can ask, like very standard, evergreen, like who should be fired? Who was the weakest?
Right.
Who was the strongest?
Totally.
Like that, I feel like, on the other one who used to do the show would be a little bit more, he would dig a little deeper, I feel like, and would ask, like, specific questions to the task.
Right.
Where this one's Arnold is a little
generic.
bit more, it's like,
Well,
even
the
Donald.
other one, as you referred to him as, had 15 seasons under his belt.
True. Yeah, that's mean. President Trump. Here I go. President Trump would ask questions specific to the task, and including ask many questions to the people who weren't the team leader, and be like, "How was Meatloaf as a project manager?" You know what I mean? Like that, I kind of liked a little bit more. I mean, yeah, I think that question's been asked, but not too in depth. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm just dying to hear you just say that. Well, when President Trump hosted this show, not because I'm trying to get political, but
Yes.
just because if I could rewind time, I always think this. If I could rewind time, was it 2 years ago? When we were breaking down the last season of the show, and I could walk into that studio and say to you and I, oh my gosh, in 2 years, he's going to be the president.
Yeah.
I would just love to know what our reactions would be. That's just why it just blows my mind, because it's like we never could have imagined that. And
Where's the DeLorean? I don't know.
Yes! Find it.
Yes. Well, I'm all verklempt. No, look, what else can we say? Well, the whole boardroom. Brooke is there, and and she couldn't say who gave 100%. She had a problem answering a question, which was interesting to me, because that pops up later, as you know. And then she threw Ricky under the bus, saying that, well, I don't think he did that much. I mean, we're only given what we're given, so
That's
we don't
true.
know.
We don't know if there was more or whatever.
Right. Yes. Lisa said that her creatives were Portia and Carson on this project, and then they gave the positives and the negatives. Team Arete, as I have to say, said this is stupid.
It never gets easier.
Yes.
You're just always like, I
That's
don't
why
know.
I'm just trying to talk like him,
It's
because
great.
I'm like-
No, it's great.
With my accent, it's gonna call it artists or something stupid.
Team artist.
Hey, we knew it would be a problem when they said it that first
Oh
time.
my
That's
gosh, we
true.
totally did. We were like,
Yes.
this is gonna be great.
Trying
All
too
season.
hard to be fancy, really trying too hard. Anyway, the positives were that for the team led by Brooke Burke, also known as Brooke Burke's team, is that they liked the farm to table concept. They liked Brooke's authentic mom connection, and the negatives were that they did not use the space that much. It was considered a miss. But they weren't being judged on the space. They were being judged on audience engagement, brand messaging, and creativity of concept. So is that a miss if you're not being judged on it? It would be a nice
I think they were
bonus.
just trying to find
It folds into the last two, but
they were trying to
Yeah.
find a negative thing to say.
Right. Yes. And then for the other people over on the other side, led by Lisa, they said that they like the mom's focus. Really liked Carson's encouragement of the product and eating it and being healthy. And they liked the use of the container. And the negative was that it was a bit chaotic and that it seemed more of like a party atmosphere, which falls into the whole conga line thing. But I don't know if that was, I mean, I could see it was a little more chaotic.
Yes, absolutely. It was definitely, there was a lot more happening and seemingly at the same time. So, you know, from an organizational standpoint, Brooke's team, it appeared more organized. It appeared more cohesive, even though if you asked Ricky what the theme was, he'd be like, I have no idea. So in that sense, perhaps neither really had a theme outside of like healthy lifestyle living or whatever, but it still felt more cohesive on Brooke's side, and it just felt like scattered on Lisa's side.
right, the chaos is what muddies up the whole branding thing.
And chaos actually doesn't lend itself to healthy living.
That's true, yeah. However, though, when you are being judged on audience participation, or in this case, what is it, audience engagement, and you're having a party atmosphere, I mean, is it the worst thing in the world?
No, it just, I guess if it was like more healthy party, I guess.
Yeah. Another negative was they said that the girls...
Here's your chaos
Healthy
movie.
party sounds like fun.
Yeah,
I
right.
know, right? Another negative, these people were really not about having any fun because they thought the girls cheapened the brand and would look
Right.
cheap. So I don't know, I don't know what... They should have just said, we don't want this to be a party atmosphere because they wanted it just to be about the product. And I don't know, of course there's a gray space when you want audiences to be engaged. I mean, at what point? I mean, especially if you just want them to interact with the product and clap and learn how to enhance their butt. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this was a tough one. This is my least favorite task yet.
I'm trying to think of
don't
other
enjoy
ones
this
that
one.
like we didn't love though. There's been a few where we were just a little.
I feel like each episode we
We
get
have
one
one
that's
that we
a little
like.
lackluster
Yeah,
and then a
dud.
really good one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my dud. I didn't care for this one.
Like they only put effort in every other task.
Yes, yeah, in creativity of concept, yes. Brooke Burke did win for $50,000 to Operation Smile, good charity.
Yep.
Yeah, so
It was cool when she said straight up like, oh, over 200 kids are going to be directly helped by these dollars.
Love that. Yes, absolutely. Final boardroom. Lisa throws Vince down and says that she never lost control of the task, but she's not responsible for the girls on the roof.
You know, here's the thing with that too. At the end of the day, he really wasn't battling anyway, and he can walk away very happy. And so I think in the sense of just kind of spreading the wealth, if you will, with allowing other people an opportunity to
Yeah.
win just anything, because no one's going to get near the amount he won. I don't think at this point. I think it was a fine way to exit for him. You know, I mean, I don't know.
I understood Lisa saying that because even when she allowed it to happen, she kind of said, well, I just wanted to let him have one sort of dog in the fight so that he'd feel like one of his
He was
ideas
included,
got
yeah.
used and that
Yeah.
he'd feel included. That's so that she thought that it would be more detrimental if he felt like he wasn't part of the team than this was. So
Yeah.
it really, that was putting it on him at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah, and he did fight back a little bit and say, I thought that was in the spirit of health and fitness.
They weren't in like
So-
bikinis; they were in fitness attire.
yes.
Yeah. So
he
you know.
didn't he fought a little bit. Like he didn't just say, "All right, I'm out." Bye."
No,
You
he
know what I
didn't
mean?
like lay right. He
yeah,
didn't roll over,
yeah.
but at the same time, he also I think was
Yeah.
he was fine with it.
In the
He was like,
middle
"Get
of
me home."
in the
He's
middle
tired.
of this discussion, though, Chael has to let everyone know that Lisa was a disaster, and then Lisa attacks him for not doing anything, and then Carson says that it's a tie between Lisa and Chael on who's the weakest on this task. It falls on the project manager, is what he ultimately says. Portia chimes in and says that she would bring back, if she could choose, Chael. Who she recommends is Chael and Vince. And then Schwarzenegger says, this is when he talked in German the first time, right?
Yes.
Rude.
Yeah. Like I think so.
Yeah,
The first time for the episode, yeah.
right. Yeah, well, Schwarzenegger also says that Lisa doesn't get along with her teams and pointed out her track record on both sides, which is fair. you know.
It's fair, but it doesn't really say anything about. Does that? Well, I should just pose the question. Does that say something about her leadership skills just because they don't like her? Like, isn't her being successful in the task or successful as a project manager, her history with that, more important than if people like her if she got along with them?
I would agree with you.
Valid point.
Yeah, I mean that's her work ethic. That's her style of management. You know, it's her style of management is gonna be a little different than Snooki's. You know what I mean? So she's a little more bold, and I think that's okay.
The only thing I'll say, though, is the fact that everyone on the team had an unclear vision of what they were doing. That's obviously a reflection of mismanagement. So she definitely has had stellar ideas all season, I think, and she certainly listens pretty carefully when it comes to what is the task, what are we responsible for doing. But in the sense of now, was this the first time she was the project manager?
I believe so.
So when that...
Lisa Leslie.
I think it... Oh,
No,
wait, no, that video.
yeah.
The video that she did. Wasn't she project manager for that? I think so, when it was the ladies team.
Sorry, yes.
Perhaps it's just not her strong suit in... She's like, I mean, she can be a very good team player, maybe, and lend ideas.
A leader.
Which she should be.
Yeah, she has a lot of leadership qualities in of her own, but with projecting herself forward, I think, more than like camaraderie amongst the team.
Oh yeah, she doesn't care about that. I don't think.
And you know what it might be?
Yeah, she's the front
Whereas
runner.
Brooke is like rubbing people's shoulders. She's like, yes.
No, I mean,
Lisa's the front runner.
She's the captain of the team.
Yes.
I think is what it is in the world where she comes from.
Oh, yeah.
She probably always was the captain.
Oh,
and
yeah.
was the most respected because she was the most talented and the most successful out of everybody. So she's probably not used to sort of having to fight for that role.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
And there are a lot of those personalities in this bunch. So
Schwarzenegger goes on to say that Chael gives 100% of fight in the boardroom and does nothing on the tasks. So he's like, get to work, bitch. And then Schwarzenegger also says that Vince enjoys his victories too much and doesn't, he talked about his history and how you have to pull it together and move on to the next challenge. And so ultimately they agreed that they should just kind of part ways, as we said. So, bye.
Adios.
Yeah.
We'll
and I
miss you,
like
Vince.
Vince. I actually like him a
we'll
lot.
miss you, Vince Neil.
Yeah, he had a good
chill.
run. I think some of
had
the
a great
celebrities, they can look back and say, "Oh, I should have done this," or "I regret this." But I mean, come on, what more could have you wanted out of this experience?
Oh,
Besides, even winning, he probably, we don't know what's going to happen yet in these final tasks, but he probably will end up having made more money for his charity than if he had won.
Yeah.
100%, yes.
Well, the second task begins at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Fun task.
Yes, good task. Boy George is off this episode. He had another thing to do.
But we'll give him a pass because he's been
Yes,
good.
yes.
I feel like if it was some of the people, I would really start questioning that. I mean, I think this far along in
Like
the
Ricky?
game, if you can't be there, then.
But if you're Boy George, pass.
Yeah. Although Boy
He's put
George,
in enough work.
I think Boy George would have been really interesting to see in this task because it was creatively heavy, and I feel like I would like to have heard his input.
Which team was he on again?
Ooh.
Oh, good question. He's still with Carson, right?
Was he with Carson? Was he?
Is he still?
On Portia's side, I
I'm
don't
thinking
believe.
of the football thing.
Okay. Oh shoot, because they merged the teams.
No, he was on Brooke's team because remember Brooke was talking about his story for their
Okay.
team. So he
All
was
right,
he wouldn't have
Eric
helped he wouldn't have helped Carson's team with their challenge after all.
Okay.
So anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
And
would've
Brooke's team
made a
didn't need any
difference.
more help because they had Matt Eisman.
Yeah, that's true. So they were all about Harry Potter. The president of Universal Studios was there.
President and COO.
There you go.
I was like, okay.
yes. Legit.
Well done.
Operating officer.
Yes.
It was a celebrity-inspired digital brochure, if you will, of Harry Potter with a presentation to some of the most die-hard of fans. $50,000, again, to the winning team, being judged on the creativity of concept, brand integration, and overall live presentation.
It was totally 100% Matt Eisman's team had it. From
it was
the start,
obvious.
it was like you almost felt bad for Carson's side because not one person knew anything about Harry Potter, whereas Matt Eisman brought he was an encyclopedia of knowledge when it came to the entire brand.
He must
You
have been
guys,
so excited.
something that Chael didn't claim to know everything about.
Oh.
I think that's a first.
Dun dun dun.
Too many books to read, I think. Too much.
It's true, right? Too many movies to see, too many books.
Yeah, a lot of time. Anyway, what were we saying here? So yeah, Matt, we talked about that, how he's so into it. He wanted to capture the daily profit.
That was a great idea.
Yes.
So in the sense of creating any sort of digital newsletter, that was like a duh right there. So the fact that obviously his knowledge of the brand, he pulled that in, and that was a great tie-in.
Yeah. Layla Ali, she claimed she really didn't know anything about it, and she recommended that they should do something a little more relatable to lighter fans, not so much diehard fans. But that kind of fell on deaf ears, and that wasn't really a point.
I think the people that are paying attention to this anyway, it's sort of like...
They're the diehards, they're not a casual fan?
Well, I think casual fans can look at that and feel an appreciation for, oh, this still ties in with the... or whatever. It's like implying knowledge, right? So... This is the Daily Prophet. Even if you weren't a fan of the movie, you're still being respectful of the brand, and people can sort of pick up, oh, wait, that maybe have been what was in the movie. I don't know. I think it's sort of like secondhand passing of knowledge to people that wouldn't otherwise necessarily be fans.
Right, but I mean, it was a safe assumption to think that most of the people who would show up for something like this are going to be diehard.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right, yeah.
There was a lot of people there.
Oh, yeah.
So Matt wanted to highlight a family, and then the crowd came in, and there was like, I don't know how they did that with all the releases that people have to sign. It must have been a nightmare
They just
for
put up
production.
one of those bulletin board
Yeah,
things?
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe.
You
I
may be
don't
on
know.
camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, I guess you just have to be like, yeah. Matt seemed organized to me, even with the layout when they were putting things together. They painted it where they had a lot of stuff and things, but I think he had a vision, and I really don't think that there was a weak beat to his run.
Well, given what they were asking of, like, for this challenge and just, I don't know, photos and a digital presentation, it was, I thought, the best you could get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Brooke Burke, though, very stressed out. But I will say,
She was very
I don't know what she was so concerned about, but I will say Brooke really did. I saw her working. Like, she really did work. I think as hard, if not harder than Matt in this for what I watched. And I'm surprised. I feel like she's been kind of a floater in this game, but she really did take it seriously and really wanted to get in his head.
She was sort of like the ultimate taskmaster, I think, right? So just really keeping the team on time, on task, especially when it came to Matt, just to kind of reel him in.
Yeah. Oh, I respect that. Yeah. The other side, Carson's team, like we said, poor Carson's just clueless as to what this all was about.
For the first time. Usually
Yeah.
he's so up on everything.
That's true.
Especially like for a pop culture reference.
Yes.
Carson, we just expect more from him.
I did love that
know.
blazer, though.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
like, man, did I love that blazer on him.
Well, his concept was based in the celebrities are upstaged by a new big celebrity in Hollywood.
Star in town.
Yeah. Which is hard to translate through photos, especially if you have to believe that the celebrities are in fact known like these are like we're not just showing you faces, we're showing you we are celebrities. So how do you sell that in a photo that we're going the celebrity route and not just here's Lisa standing with a wand, like trying to get that across.
They could have made it look more like a tabloid.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Good idea.
More like the cover of a magazine.
I mean, it'd be better than what they had, because what they had, they hated. Yeah, so.
Like, if you know it's not working, probably should have switched it up.
And also, just, given that we've seen him on so many occasions as, like, sort of the ringleader talking and presenting, this is the first time we've seen him with, like, notes in his hand, and that was a fail for me. Because he's a guy that should be able to just sort of, like, talk through. If he looks at the...
yeah.
No, Carson. Carson
Yeah,
had, like, he was holding that piece of paper, and that's just not something that I would expect from Carson Kressley. Just because he's so good at, like, thinking spontaneously, thinking on his feet, and, like, he can look at a photo and just be like, and we're... I mean, he can shoot it out like nobody's I've ever seen before. So that, I think, that was a big no-no for... like one demerit or an extra demerit for him. Just I don't
Unless
know.
if he knew that he was sunk anyway.
Well,
He's
I
like,
think that might have been what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but at this point, when they're coming up with the creative and taking the photos, they have a one-on-one with Chael, who says, "I'm gonna basically sit back and not contribute because I don't know what to do." So
That was
he's out.
That was unbelievable. Just like, wow.
So out of it.
I just think every single thing that he's doing, every word he's saying in an interview, every action we see him take is calculated as a reality TV star. Not even as someone who's trying to win the
That's
Celebrity
thirsty,
Apprentice or
yeah.
anything. That's how he's coming off to me.
He's like the next Omarosa.
Yes, exactly. Like he would be
Oh,
fine being
Lord.
the villain
That's what he
or
wants to
the
be. Yeah.
gangster, as he put it.
He's gonna be in some presidential cabinet in the next 10 years.
Oh Lord, no.
He did
please.
say that he wants to, that he is
Run for
considering
government.
a run for a seat in Congress if he has time.
Oh,
next year.
well, he's probably he says to put the books down. He's reading so much about Warren
So
Buffett.
let's
he
take that
can't catch up on
DeLorean,
it.
right? Like,
Right?
Oh, let's just,
Oh, Lord.
today.
We could go,
I'm
what would
too
we
afraid to
say?
get behind the wheel of a DeLorean. I'm just, I don't know anymore.
Oh, don't worry, you don't have to drive.
Lisa wants to go more along the lines of a fan POV with the photos. Like there's so many photos being taken, and then the crowd comes in. It does look like Carson lost control of the task.
Totally. I will agree in the sense that that photo shoot that they were doing for
when he
the
was
bikes,
naked,
the
and yes.
the
Kawasaki.
Kawasaki, yeah.
So that it's like they had very specific shots that he wanted, right? And he was curating them. It was like, we want this woman on the bike, we want me in my naked shots, we want this and this and this. So I was very surprised that he was like, just take 5,000 photos and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
Especially with all the time constraints that they had.
The worst.
That was not a good
photos.
idea.
No, and
Yeah.
that just shows how much more lost he was in all of
Yes,
this than he has
absolutely.
been in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna go for more of a high resolution, high grade, like photo, like you would see in a brochure from Universal.
Right.
You know, it was a little more like just snaps to
Right.
me, and I was like, I
Like
don't know.
Polaroids,
I
like-
wanted to see higher quality in this, since it was 4 photos or 4 slides. Like, I mean, you know, I just wanted to see a little more of an investment of time. That's what I thought we were gonna see anyway. So yeah, Chael. Well, here we go. He was worried about deadlines. And they were, after going through all the photos, they were running out of time, and you know.
Do you really think he did it though, or do you think, in the sense of, do you think a producer was like, you should cut the cord?
No,
No.
absolutely. This was all him. You could see him looking for the camera out the corner of his eye in a very not
seemed
colorful-
weird.
Gangster, right?
Yes,
So
dude.
weird.
A wannabe gangster.
Man. And not a very good one, because I feel like he could have pulled something else off better, or
Or
just,
just
spilled
unplug
the
the
drink
computer.
or-
I don't know.
Right,
Yeah.
yes. So he caused his own technical error, and yeah. So then
It was so weird.
Carson didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want it to overshadow the performance. I feel like Carson was just kind of like, we're going to lose this anyway. I feel like the rating was on the wall at this point. But they had the presentation. Let's talk about Matt's presentation first. Let's just get into what we thought about that. Ride the Magic was part of the theme. I was very unimpressed by the photos on both sides.
I thought the photos were, yeah, okay, great,
Yeah,
whatever.
token.
Right. But the theme that he obviously had it was a much better, it was packaged better.
more cohesive.
Right.
Absolutely. And his presentation, obviously, his knowledge of the brand was impeccable.
Yeah.
So
Did it
And
need
really,
one
what's
note?
going to speak to the executives if someone is truly comes off that they're passionately
fan.
really
Yeah.
are a
Yeah,
fan?
Yeah.
right, exactly. And like you mentioned, with Carson reading the note cards, it seemed more of like a corporate presentation.
Right.
Like, you know, like fans will engage with wands, and then they'll be able to buy merchandise, and our consumer products division will, you know, pick up, you know, and do this. And it seems a little bit more like the benefits of having the Harry Potter, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, versus, you know, just like being as excited as the other
Right.
one was. Yeah. So let's jump to the boardroom, and Carson calls Chael right out for the cord cutting. So Lisa questions his motives, and Chael claims that he was not cheating. He did buy them more time, which we don't know how he did, because the graphic designer had his laptop there connected to the computer that he cut the cord off.
So
Yeah,
that
that's
could have been a
the other thing.
monitor. So
Yeah.
So if his laptop was plugged into something, it was probably just a monitor. So showing what was on the screen, whatever. I don't know. I mean, it was definitely not some like tremendous idea that Chael had.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of these
See, if
programs
the producer
fit
set it up, I
autosave.
feel like it would have been orchestrated better too.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of these things are, because I remember there was a camera behind the screen getting the folks working on the computer, like viewing them looking up at the screen working like this, and then this like black fabric came by, and then we cut to a wider shot, and you saw Chael behind the screen. So it did seem like, you know, it was like weird direction. You know what I mean? It couldn't have been set up. That's what I believe. You know, I feel like it was
the
just
whole
like,
thing was so bizarre.
yeah. So I don't know how it bought them more time. I mean, I feel like we need like a set side source. Portia, where are you?
Here's the
Yeah.
thing too, like at the end of the day, we don't really, this is the first time we heard that like you have to be done by 7:45, right? We haven't heard that yet in anything. And there's
In
certainly
this season, and others though in New York, they did have a lot of deadlines.
but they didn't even show like a clock, right? Like a countdown clock of like time, like nothing. Like had the team not finished on time, we wouldn't have known. And I suspect that the producers would have been like, okay, 10 minutes, like wrap it up. I don't this is
Yeah.
for charity. Like I don't know. That was the whole Chael thing was
And
Too
no, I'm
weird.
sorry, but I think that's how it works on all reality shows, even Top Chef.
sure.
really?
You
Yeah.
have another 5 minutes.
Yeah,
no
right. Because
problem.
otherwise they would never have anything to show because
Right.
no one would ever finish anything.
That's true. The product is always finished and glistening. You know, it's always
Yeah.
like, but yeah, it's always like down to the wire. True.
Down to the
Yeah.
wire.
Like fake choking, or I mean, there would have been so many more creative and less destructive ways, I think, to buy 10 more minutes.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very proud of himself, though, and even Patrick and the advisor in the boardroom said, you know, this is not something. A technical difficulty is not something you deliberately cause on your own.
That's true. That was very eloquent, Patrick. Yes.
Very true.
Yes.
And yeah, that basically, look, even Schwarzenegger was like, we're not even going to discuss this. You're fired. And he actually gave him a true "you're fired" on the show.
He seemed
First, yeah.
genuinely disgusted. I mean, and I think that's apparent in the fact that he didn't kind of, well, do you think you should be fired? Well, why isn't this cheating? Well, I mean, he just went right there and was like,
Yeah.
forget you, man.
I like it. I like it.
I know,
Cut
I was a
through
fan of it. Although I kind of wish that they didn't need to eliminate someone else at that point. Like, okay, your team
Yeah.
lost and you're fired. That's done.
True. True. Yeah.
Did they
just
really
let's
need
move
another
this
eliminate-
along,
right.
Yeah. So the positives and negatives of both teams. Matt's team. Matt got positives. He was a showman. He had good knowledge and engagement. They loved the creativity of the newspaper. They gave them a lot of high praise that they could even use the brochure that he created. Carson's team had got no positives for the first time ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nothing.
Carson.
Not a
you got
thing.
you got a lot of praise for all the other ones.
Yes. They said it was predictable and uninspired and missed the mark, which is just like, ooh, this has to hurt.
Ouch, ouch, ouch.
Yeah. So Carson takes ownership of the photo concepts, and then later on he takes on more. But we'll get into a few more things on that side of the boardroom. Lisa says that Carson is stronger than Portia. This starts a whole back and forth. Portia says that Carson is a better organizer and knows more about brand integration. And then Schwarzenegger speaks in German that she talks too much again and is unimpressed by her. Like, really rude, though. You know, I wonder if it was a guy, like there was earlier, and if he would say the same thing.
Behind, like, in
yeah.
another language kind of a
Yes.
thing. I hate when that happens on any, like, in
Yes.
any way, especially in the context of this show and in business in general. If you have a meeting with someone and then they, like, start speaking in a foreign language, it's just
good.
sort of not cool at all.
Right, and you would certainly think the time to do that would have been with Chael.
Yeah.
And like, hey, can you believe this guy? Or
What an idiot.
yeah. The fact that he hasn't done it with anyone but her is what makes it seem a little
I
chauvinistic.
want to say,
Right.
did he do it though? I feel like he did it one time.
One
with
other
one of the
woman,
guys.
maybe?
No, I think he did it with one of the guys, but I think it was earlier on. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember, but I feel like
Yeah.
he did. But not in
Okay.
this way. I mean, obviously, it's been very consistent with her,
Yeah.
with the talking too
Yes,
much. Like, he's
yeah.
been very consistent with that,
Right.
with her. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, flashing back to the first
I
time.
know.
Who was it? I think it was a chick.
It was
I just
Portia,
wanna say-
the very first.
The first time it was Portia, for
Yeah.
sure. But then I want to say there was, like, another time.
Oh,
I don't know.
wow.
Maybe someone out there can
Portia,
confirm or deny.
Tweet us.
I do feel like that was unwarranted for Portia. It was
Yeah.
unfair, really unnecessary. And Carson does give her credit that she was there for him throughout the whole task. And unfortunately, I think maybe Carson should have been let go because of just them absolutely hating everything that he created. But Schwarzenegger had it out for Portia, and that
Well,
was
in
it.
the sense that Carson has been a part of a lot of winning tasks, and he's been very instrumental at a lot of the winning tasks, and he did mention that she's lost 6 of 8. So in that
Fair.
respect, and if she's been obviously very crucial to all the creative stuff with all of her tasks, then writing on the wall.
Yeah, but this was the first time that we heard him say, like, oh, now I'm considering the past tasks as well.
True. Usually, even in the old version, I always said, why don't they pull from past wins and all that? And they really didn't look at that until the finale, and they would give kind of the scoreboard.
Right.
But this is a different show. The new Celebrity Apprentice.
The new
I
Celebrity
guess
Apprentice.
Arno does not forget.
Yes. Well, let's talk about some news and gossip with the new Celebrity Apprentice.
AfterBuzz TV News.
We got some juicy stuff today, guys. He's still executive producer, right? Executive producer Donald Trump has been slapped with his first lawsuit as president. This is coming from TMZ. And he is being sued by the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington that he's violating a clause of the Constitution that prohibits federal officers from profiting off of foreign powers. So this is stuff like office leases at Trump Tower, hotel reservations by foreign whoever
Diplomats,
they are.
yeah.
Payments from foreign governments to rebroadcast episodes of The Apprentice and Celebrity Apprentice. So it's stuff like that. They say it's not enough that he's disassociated himself from these businesses, that he's still benefiting. So now the latest on that is that a source from CNN says that now he has resigned from his businesses as a result of this lawsuit, but it's still going on. This broke this morning, so we'll keep you posted.
Only that was our biggest problem. Yes.
Well, Kawasaki Motor Corp, which we saw in a task, and they are one of the sponsors of the show, there were rumors that they were going to be pulling their sponsorship because of Donald Trump's involvement, because one of their employees made the claim and actually kind of released a statement and said, our company believes that there should be a separation between president and media, and we're going to be backing out. The company has released an official statement now and is saying, we don't know where that came from or why this person said it. That person is no longer with the company, and that is absolutely not how we feel, and we will continue to support this show. So maybe another Kawasaki task in the future for them all. Portia was talking to Bravo TV, of course, and this is really interesting. She says that she thought her taking on the first project manager role and kind of being voted into that and then being voted to go home by all of her peers, she thought that that was a setup. And that's why she kind of went hard for the rest of the task. So interesting to hear from her. Kyle Richards is weighing in on her elimination from last week, saying she tweeted and she said it wasn't a fair choice. But Grant, I thought you might appreciate this. Kathy Hilton tweeted at her sister, and said, you were fantastic on the show. So we've been wondering what Kathy thought of her appearance here. Apparently she supported it. And what has Chael been up to? We told you about his big fight at Bellator 170 last weekend. Well, he was defeated by Tito Ortiz, Jenna Jameson's baby daddy, with a rear naked chokehold.
Rear naked. What is that?
I thought you would appreciate that. It's like an arm around the neck thing, from the rear.
But why do they call it a naked?
Are all chokeholds from the rear? I don't know.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be really fun to hear your guys' reactions to that.
Rear naked chokehold.
You learned something new today, guys.
Yes, we did. Wow.
And John Lovitz is appearing in a Super Bowl ad for avocados from Mexico, where he, of course, encourages you to eat avocados. They released a little teaser on their website. It's really, really funny. They've had commercials for the last 3 years. Jerry Rice and Scott Baio have been some. So look out for John Lovitz on Super Bowl Sunday. And one more little tidbit. Last Tuesday, after we saw Vince Neil have this big win on the show, he presented a check for $280,000.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of numbers to keep memory alive. Now, this will go to research and caregiver support at the Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health. This is very interesting. He offered to split that check equally with Ricky. This is not something we saw on the show. He apparently offered to split it with Ricky, who was the other project manager, but was told by the network and production that that's against the rules. This is, of course, the 3rd largest win ever on The Apprentice.
That's impressive.
Wow, yeah. Well, good for him for making the effort and saying, you know what, let me try. So good for him.
One more win for Vince Neil.
Yes.
We love Vince
He
Neil.
came across looking a lot better than I thought he would at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Remember when he was chugging wine in the studio?
Yeah.
I mean, which I don't have a problem with,
No.
but It didn't look too
Yeah.
good for him at first.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll give our handles and everything, and we'll just share our thoughts on next week. I think that a team is going to be eliminated.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I think a team is going to be eliminated because it looks like it's between 2 against 4.
They should. It looks like what they. I mean, I'm hoping what they do next week. I don't think they did was they need to change the teams up again.
Yeah.
It can't be 2 against 4
I don't see
or
how it's possible.
5.
I think it will be 2 against 4, and it will probably be a landslide, and that's what they're looking for because they want to shake things up again.
And it's a double, so
Absolutely.
Oy vey.
I say goodbye to one of the teams. We shall see. Anyway, where can we keep up with you guys and keep the conversation going?
You guys can always hit me up at Christy Reports on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And please also watch the Total Divas After Show tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean.
And you guys can find me over on my podcast. A new episode came out today. It's really good when we talk a little bit about Apprentice and a lot of things. Dance Moms, that jackass. That's called Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk and Twitter, Grants__rants. We'll be back next week
We'll
with
see you
more
next
celebrity
week.
drama.
Wow.
Adios.
Wow.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.